You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where best friends recap romance novels while worshiping at the altar of authors and all the side characters we can't resist.
Gonna love what we love, do it out loud. Stack our shelves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud.
Hey, HVs. We're so glad you're back for part 2. Before we get into it, I've got some beautiful patrons to shout out. So, our heartfelt thanks and welcome goes out to Adwil Alexandra D, April M, Jane R Says, Lauren, Angel L, and Sarah A.L. If you liked hearing us gush about small moments in the previous 2 McCabe books so far, sign up for our Patreon or our Apple Podcast subscription because we're doing a whole squeepisode about them both on Friday. Now, let's jump back into our favorite Highland couple's story. When we parted ways yesterday, he had just agreed to train her in combat so that she could keep being herself in all the best ways. Here we go. Okay, so they're having a great relationship now because they're both compromising. She's doing a lot. She's like doing more house management, and he is training her and still allowing her to flex those muscles. And so this is all wonderful. And then she thinks to herself, I feel like my warrior needs to be pampered. I think, can we skip to the
Please
pampering?
hold. Two things.
Two things. Cool. Bring
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So she, at this point, has decided. So she had decided the first time that the consummate that she's like, I am going to convince this man to love me. Like, I won't accept any less. I'm not giving him up. And now she basically, like, we see her recommit herself to that statement. Like, she is, because she initiates sex this time. Like, she initiates their intimacy. And she is thinking to herself, I'm going to seduce him, basically, into loving me. Because she still doesn't know the whole story from him about Elspeth. But she can tell that there's something off. But then when she wakes up the next day after she initiated the night before, he's gotten her a new pair of boots.
Oh my God, the new boots!
Because, oh my
They're
God.
fur-lined, everybody okay?
One of my greatest swoons is the perfect gift.
Yes.
You know, like a gift that is, it's like to anybody else, it's like, okay, yeah, you got me a new pair of boots. But like this really shows like he is embracing letting her be who she is. Because like if she
and that he cares about her tangibly.
Because ultimately, she wouldn't need this really fancy set of new boots like this.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't need a brand new cloak that's especially good for fighting
Mm-hmm.
if she was going to be by the hearth all the time, like a
Yeah.
good little lady of the keep. And so
Yeah.
he is like, I've got you. And it's so cute because she's so happy. She runs out into that courtyard and she's like, Kaylin! And he turns and looks at her, and then she takes him out, and she
love
tackles him to the ground. And then, oh my god, it's so cute because she's still so excited. That night, he walks into
oh my god, this is so cute.
He retires to his chamber. By the way, Ewan and Marin are here to visit because they're on the way to their new keep, because it's a whole thing. We'll talk about
Fluffer.
this. Yeah.
Niffle Fluffer keep.
Yep. I was hoping that you actually knew because you listened to the audiobook. It's like, to my American English
Is
and
it Niffle Fluffer?
Latin alphabet, understanding of the Latin alphabet, I know this is wrong, but it looks like Nameline or something like that. Like,
Sure.
I don't know. I know I'm wrong, though. Niffle-loffer sounds great. So
he comes in and he's like trying to be really stern.
Well, he fusses her.
Yeah, he's trying to be real stern.
He's like, you're not allowed to, like, tumble me in front of the men. It sets a bad, like, whatever. And she's like,
there is a
running
time and a place.
her hands down his chest. And she's like, am I allowed to tumble you to the ground in the privacy of our chamber? His brows drew together in confusion. What? She hooked her leg behind his knee and gave him a mighty shove. He stumbled back against the bed and went down on his back, and she climbed atop him and stared triumphantly down at him. Now, what is it you were saying, husband? I am ever obedient and awaiting your instructions. He tucked his hand behind his head. I wasn't saying a damn thing. Not a thing. Carry on, wife. She smiled in satisfaction. 'Tis what I thought you said. And then, as he sank deep into her welcoming body, he sucked in his breath and then murmured against her mouth, you have my permission to tumble me anywhere. And
Anywhere.
as often as you would like.
In front of anybody.
It was so cute. And then we're about to do the pampering, but the other important thing is he realizes she's pregnant. So they're doing their little fighty fight. She's been tired lately.
Yes.
And then she passes out, basically, when they're
faints.
doing when they're doing their their practice. And he finds out.
Oh my god,
Sarah,
he picks her up Mary Carey style, and he runs through the house while he's shouting for like all the women to bring hot water or something so that he can like anything, just bring something, bring towels maybe. It's a lot of times we need towels.
Get the doctor. And so Sarah tells him like, well, she's tired, and it's common for the McDonald women, like they don't have morning sickness. They're tired, like they have fatigue. That's their only symptom. And
he's like, record scratch, what?
Oh my god.
And she says, well, she's pregnant. Didn't she like she's pregnant. And then he loses his ever loving
He's such a dick.
Yeah.
He is such a dick about it.
He goes way too far with this one, I think. Because so the whole time he's been really excited about this like new trajectory. Since they've been actually in like a good place with their relationship, he started talking about like the bairns they're going to have and the life that they can build. And like, you know, the future laird that's going to come out of her womb and like all the business and like practicing and like seeing if he can set his seed or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she is thinking like she's overjoyed and she's like, oh my God, he's going to be so excited when I tell him, like I get to tell him that I'm pregnant because she just found out. She didn't know. Like, there weren't enough signs for her to realize.
After he did, because she found out after Sarah woke her up.
That's right. Yeah.
And so she doesn't even know. And when he gets up to the room, he has been avoiding her because he's been so mad he was going to lose it on her. And he gets up there and she's like, I don't even know what I did to you. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you,
He's been
dude?
I mean... So not only did when he first comes in, like earlier in the day, right? Like right after she finds out, he's just raging at her. And she's thinking to herself like, oh, fuck, something has changed and he doesn't want a kid anymore. And I don't understand what happened? And he's like, you're going to stay up here and you are going to behave and I'm going to go do my job. And like, I don't want to hear about it for any more times, like the rest of the day, whatever. So then she goes out to the where the dudes are, where he is, so that she can like ask him what's going on and see if there's anything she can do to fix it. He lights into her in front of all of her men. Like everybody sees him come down on her. And so she turns around and goes back to the room and then like doesn't come out again. She like has dinner in there. And when he comes up, he's still just like vibrating with rage. And she says, I really don't understand what I did to you. And I want to fix it, but like you humiliated me again because you're mad and you don't want to tell me why. And he says, oh, and this really hit me. He's like, I cannot believe that you didn't tell me about our child, that you kept it from me so that you would keep training, like so that you could keep training and keep doing all of this. You knew that I wouldn't do anything that could possibly harm you. And so you kept it from me so that you could keep doing this. And she looks at him and she's like, I didn't know. And frankly, the worst part about this for her is that he thinks so little of her, that she is selfish enough to manipulate the situation so that she would put her child in danger. Like, if that is the kind of person you think I am, then I don't think that I don't understand.
We can't fix this. We can't make this work. Like, this is the only air we're having because, like...
Yeah. Because this is awful, frankly. And so he melts. And he's like, oh my God, I was so mean to you.
And she's like oh my God, you were afraid. And he was like, I fully thought he was going to be like, terrified. I would never, I'm not a fearful person. But no, he breaks down. He's like, I was terrified. Like, I was so afraid for you. And like,
I thought I had hurt you. I was up here looking for wounds when I brought you up here.
And it's so sweet. And then it's so cute because she's like, okay, well, what if we like, today's been an eventful day. Yeah. She's so sweet about it. And he's like, maybe we'll just go to bed. And
she's like we don't need to talk anymore about it. Because he's like, I need to apologize to you. And she's like, we're going to cool it.
He says, you have a very generous spirit, wife. And she says, there is something I want in return. And he's like, oh, and what is that? And she says, a good husband would be mindful of his wife in her present condition. She needs lots of care and attention. Oh, does she now? Oh, aye, she does. Lots of tender, loving handling by her husband. I think I can accommodate that. And then he picks her up and he puts her on the bed and he says, in fact, I think I should give her lots of extra loving. And Rihanna's just like, oh yeah, me too. That sounds great.
We're on the same page.
It's so cute. But then they fall asleep. And this is the biggest like, it's important to talk about the pregnancy, but after he has fallen asleep, he's not actually asleep. She thinks he is. And she confesses her love to him for the first time. And she tells him, I love you, husband. 'Tis the truth. I never expected to give you my heart. I know not if that's even what you want from me, but it is yours all the same. Someday I'll have yours in return. And then she falls asleep and we see his point of view where he's like, oh my God.
He's like, I can't sleep. I'm just looking at the ceiling, thinking about her words over and over and over.
His wife loved him. He knew not what to make of this development. He'd loved before and it had come to no good. And yet he knew that love existed. He'd seen it between his brothers and their wives. He knew his brothers loved their women with a ferocity uncommon to most marriages. Love required sacrifice. It required trust and faith. It required making yourself completely vulnerable to the one you loved. And like, he's terrified. The one and only time that he's ever loved anybody, his whole family died and half of his clan was murdered. Like, but now we get our first Pledge of Allegiance to Caitlin as the Laird.
Oh, yeah, say it.
From everybody. There's a whole scene where he basically is like either pledge your allegiance or I'm fighting all of you until you do.
Yeah, or line up. We're going to fight.
And if I lose, I will leave and never come back.
I will leave
And then-
McDonald land, and everybody stands up to fight him.
Oh my God. And he does. He wins against everybody. And like, it's a whole
and
thing.
of course, they're not stupid. So they wait and they save their biggest, hardest, meanest guys for the
And
last.
That's when we learned that, boy, it's Redwood Simon. Because, like,
It's Redwood Simon.
this is the one where he's like, if I had 50 Simons, like, I would be unstoppable.
And so a lot of them, and so they're standing around during these fights and they're cheering for every McDonald who comes up and gets like put down. But then toward the end, they're screaming, Simon, Simon, Simon. And he realizes, he gets a little bit distracted because he realizes his wife, not only is she coming out to support him, and she's the only one who's yelling, Kaylin, Kaylin.
Kaylin!
But she has presented as the ladiest lady who has ever been feminine in her life. She's
my
made up,
God.
she's curled, she's braided, she's buffed. Like, she's
It's so
such
cute.
a lady wife. And it is a fucking statement.
All right.
And it's
Melody-
what gives him the energy. And then, listener,
Listener, this is why when Melody was like, can we just jump to the pampering? I was like, no, we
No, of
can't.
course not. I don't remember the order of things. So whatever
That's
the
fine.
event I think of next, I'm like, can we jump there? No. But the other thing is, he looks at her and he realizes, like, she is the inspiration for him to be like, I'm not going to be able to fight Simon. I'm like in the normal way, in like the acceptable masculine whatever way, because I've fought his like 30 guys by now. I'm exhausted. He's already like 50 pounds heavier than me and stronger and taller and all the bullshit. So he's like, I need to strategize like she would. I have to think like she would in a situation like this. So he gets Simon on the ground and then he jumps on his back like a little barnacle and he puts his arm around and he starts choking him. And like he gets smacked up against the wall and he's like, no, he's like, just hold on for this last one.
Gotta
Just hold on. You gotta hold on because you
Because
don't
if
want to
I
leave your lady wife.
Yeah, because if he has to... Oh,
He can't leave her. He can't. And he fucking wins. And the whole goddamn
does.
clan bows down to him. And they're like, yeah, you're my laird now. You earned it. We're voting you in with cheers.
We pledge our allegiance to you. We pledged our troth.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, normally I would like want to celebrate with the bros. But all he wants to do is look through the crowd, and she's standing there, like standing back a little bit, watching her people cheer for him. And then she runs up and they hug, and like it's a whole deal. Everybody, it's the best. So he's the laird now, and it's the best.
Pamper times.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
So now he starts working himself to the bone because now that the men respect him and see him as their leader, he can actually be effective in his training with them. So he's trying to make up for all the weeks they were being bratty little assholes and like not paying attention and sticking their tongues out at him and stuff. Actually, it's not even that. It is that, but it's like the bro Highlander way where they just like turn their backs. They treat him like a dog. And they're like, I'm higher.
Y'all, listener,
in the hierarchy than you.
I'm throwing it out here. I'm going down it's not even necessarily a Maya Banks rabbit hole, but like a Highlander rabbit hole. Throw your favorite fucking Highlander series.
Please.
Bonus points if it's one where like what Melody and I are talking about, where like we want this side character and we want the next generation and we want this and that. Like we want anybody who gets named in the book, we want their book. So like throw them at us. Like I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm going to finish up what I'm reading through right now, which is a lot, but like I think I'm going down a Highlander rabbit hole.
I think it's a great idea.
Enable me.
Please, listener.
And guess what? This isn't going to be a situation where I'm looking for sci-fi like suggestions and you give me a suggestion. I'm like, I've read that. What about this? I've read that.
Oh,
what about this? I've read that. This is, if you give it to me, I have probably not read it. You're going to be like, wow, there's no way Sabrina hasn't read this person. This is the most famous Highlander novelist ever. Probably haven't read it.
Do not omit
it. To me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me the Ruby Dixons of Highlander romance. Okay, that's exactly it.
I love it. Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, so because he's working himself so hard, she's like, he does nice things for me all the time, and he like has baths drawn for me, and he's so good to me, and I think I need to do the same thing for him, and he'll never ask for it. He'll never even think about it. So she starts getting everything ready as he's outside. And she gets like the bath water. All the ladies are like carrying buckets up. She makes sure that there's like a special meal that they can have in their room together. And so she pulls him upstairs and she's like, tonight is all about you. And she starts undressing him and he's like, whoa, what's happening here? And she's like, you just work so hard. And your lady wife is going to take care of you tonight. Everything we do tonight is going to be for your comfort and pleasure. And he's like, that doesn't sound bad at all. Actually, I mean, you're gonna, I'm not gonna fight you, I guess.
If you insist.
Yeah.
No.
So she's like undressing him. He keeps on trying to help. And she's like, no. Your lady wife is going to do that for you. And she's like, untying
lady
things.
Wife. I love that so much.
I know. So she puts him in the bath. And then, of course, we've got like the requisite, I'm going to soap you all up and also like give you a small handy for a minute and like tease you a little bit.
She gives him a blowjob.
She doesn't do, no, not yet.
Sorry. Have fun, Melody.
Thank
I'm pampering you by, this is your scene. You do whatever you want, baby. You talk about whatever you want.
No, you cut in if I skip anything, okay? Or if I forget, like, you gotta help a bitch out. But we are gonna talk about every moment in this scene because it's the best. So she like teases him. And then she gets him up and she starts drying him off. She brings him over to the hearth and she starts drying him off with the towel. And then, of course, in order to get his lower half, she's got to hit her knees and make sure she can reach everything. And then she's looking up at him and she says, you've kissed me down there, and I'm just wondering if you would like me to do the same. And he's like, oh God, I've never even thought, like, it might be a possibility, but like, yeah, definitely. And so she gives her first blowjob. It's the best. She knows that the view of him looking down at her is like so hot for him. And it's the best blowjob ever. He comes like a freight train. And then she sits him down by the hearth and she's like, and now I'm going to hand feed you dinner. And he's like, I'm wondering if you might want to be naked during all of this. I feel like the rest of the evening you should be naked. Wait, you're muted.
Before the food, though, has made it quite, she's like, come to the bed so I can brush your hair and, like, take care of you. And so she's brushing his hair, and he asks her, what prompted this display of affection, wife? And she says, well, you did advise me that such displays were not appropriate in front of the men. And he gave a shout of laughter. I'd hope not. Not that I don't love the sight of you with your lips wrapped around my cock, but 'twould incite a riot among my men. 'Tis best if we keep such matters private.
Oh, it's so good. So then she decides to feed him.
Yeah. But before he sits on the thing.
Yeah.
I'm such a little hoe for this, and Kaylin does this so much, where, like, palm kisses, because, like, she'll be, like, brushing his hair, and he'll, like, take her hand and bring it around and kiss her palm, where, like, anytime she cradles his face, he'll turn his head and, like,
and kiss her
give her
palm.
a little kiss on the paw.
Yeah.
I feel like palm kisses are just so intimate, because like that's such an easily protected part of your body. You know what I mean? Like, though, like, your palm is a part of your hand, which is part of, like, as humans, part of our, like, devoted weaponry that is a part of being human. Like,
and it's something that you use every millisecond of your life.
And so, like, having even the opportunity to be given a palm kiss means that you are giving that, like, you both have to be so vulnerable in such a place of vulnerability for a palm kiss to even be a possibility.
Yeah.
And, like, every time this cold, bitter bastard gives her a palm kiss, I was like,
it's the best. It's the best.
Continue.
So she's like, I'm going to feed you with my hands. And he's like, I think it would be amazing if you would do that naked and just be naked for the rest of the night. And so she just, every single time he makes a request, she does it so enthusiastically. And like, she's doing this on purpose, right? So the display is to show him that, like, his pleasures, his desires are what are paramount tonight. So she whips off her shift. And then he grabs her hips and just, like, has her astride him as she's feeding him. And then, because he's, like, he's got his trues back on. So he's like, actually, I think the only way this could get better is if, like, I was inside you while you were feeding me. I don't know how you feel about that. And she's, like, immediately pawing at his trues, trying to get them out. And then she gets on top of him. And he's like, I gotta warn you, everything has been so amazing. I'm not going to be able to last. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. Tonight is really all about you. But also, I'm not going to last very long either. So after she feeds him, they end up having sex like that. And God, it's the best. Is there anything else in that scene that needs to be chatted about? Oh, no, yes. This is the pivotal
a pretty
thing.
intense thing.
Yeah. So after...
go for it.
Oh, okay. So after they have sex, he carries her over to the bed and they're snuggling. And she decides to ask him finally about Elsbeth and, like, what the fuck happened there. And he immediately, doesn't he ask her why? He does before that. So he starts off the tough conversations by asking her, why is she so committed to training in the arts of warfare and defense and stuff. This is where he finds out the dynamic with her dad as she grew up. And then after that, she's like, okay, what happened with Elsbeth? And she finds out, like, he tells her from his perspective. And then once he gets to the part that, like, they got home and they saw everyone massacred, he says, that isn't the worst of my sins, though. Because when people told me that Elsbeth was the person who betrayed us like this, I didn't believe them. Like, I had so much empirical evidence in front of me, and I could not believe that she would do this. So he goes and finds her, and not only is she, like, unapologetic, she is gleeful about the way that she got one over on him. And when he finally, like, heartbroken turns to leave, she has the audacity to stab him literally in the back.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's what that scar is, huh? And he's like, yeah, that's my reminder that no matter what my heart tells me, I'm going to believe what I see with my eyeballs, what I hear with my ears. I'm going to believe the empirical evidence in front of me, and I'm never going to give somebody that much benefit of the doubt. And so she snuggles up to him and she says, I'm not Elsbeth. And he says,
I'm
I
never
know,
gonna
lass.
betray you.
I would never betray you.
So, boy, listener, that gets put to the test immediately because he is off doing a thing with the men, and then Simon comes back with his arm basically severed and like his head practically cut off, and he is dying practically. And she's like, what happened? Turns out her dad came out of nowhere from behind, killed everybody as much as they could, shot him with an arrow, and took off with Kaylin. And she's not about it. She stands up in front of her men and she says, we're going to fight him. We're going to get my husband back. Gannon, you go to Ewan. We have to change all of the plans because at this point, Ewan has, like, they're getting ready for war. It's war times. The minute the snow is melted, they're going to war against Cameron. And she's like, I'm not waiting that long because my husband won't survive. And so she sends Gannon because Ewan won't trust anybody else because, like, she could be betraying them. So she sends Gannon, and Gannon is like, man, I loved this so much.
I love
Gannon,
this.
where's your book?
Yes.
Because Gannon looks at her and he's like, I hope that you are as hardy in your defense of me as you are in the defense of your husband because he's going to kill me for letting this happen.
Yeah,
and she's
he's going to take my head off for letting you, like, because her plan is to take all of her men to the Cameron stronghold, but then have them do like a big Macduff and hide around it while she goes in by herself.
Plead
and she
sanctuary.
And she tells the men, my husband might hate me after this, but I have to pull off the biggest deception of my life. And her plan is to go in there and be like, I hated it the whole time. He abused me the whole time. I was like doing my best, but now that I have the option, like, I want to be the one to kill this fucker.
Yeah, he took my man. I'm not letting him get away with this. And so she gets there. She
she's going to tell them that she wants to be the one to kill him because of all the wrongs he's done to her. And that's how she's, like, buying time for Ewan.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I was thinking about, like, she's fucking done with Cameron. She's like, I'm gonna kill that bastard.
That's also true. Yes, that is also true.
So she gets there, and, like, they don't really believe her at first, but then they bring him up because she says, I want to be the one to kill him. Bring Kaylin from the dungeons, and she slaps him before he can say anything. She slaps him with just a look of sheer rage.
And, like, to paint the picture for you, he's been shot in the back, and then after that, they just yoinked the arrow out backwards. So he's been, like, slowly bleeding for, like, 24 hours. They've beaten the ever-loving tar out of him, and they literally threw him down some stairs into the dungeon with his hands tied behind his back. So, like, he can barely stay upright at this point, and the first thing she does is haul off and slap him across the face.
And she knows it's because she can't let him get a word out, because if her father and Cameron know anything about the last couple of months of them, they're going to know she's lying. And so she immediately betrays him, essentially, as far as everyone is concerned. And he's like, he takes it that way because he's decided, I'm not going to think about context. I'm going
Yeah.
to take things at face value. And right now she's standing in front of me looking gleeful that she's going to be the one to kill me the next day. She's
Yeah.
the one who tells them to burn me at the stake in the morning. And it's awful. And
Well,
but
and he's
then,
thinking to himself,
before
even
he-
then, he's like, my heart and my gut are telling me that all of this is wrong.
but I can't trust that.
I have to take it that way. Otherwise, I'm betraying myself.
So the next day, he is thinking on it, and he does realize, he can see on her face, he saw a flash of something on her face the night before, and he was
Yeah.
so in shock that he couldn't really process it the first night, because he's in shock from blood loss, he's in shock from illness, he's in shock from the wife that he loves with all of his being, and the deepest parts of his soul.
Yeah.
He's like, she hates me and has betrayed me, and that's like his biggest worry. But then the
Biggest
next day,
trigger.
he's like, something's off. Like, she's looking at me right now while I am tied to the stake, and something is off. And so, boy, he's right. She grabs that thing of fire, and instead of coming and lighting him, she shoves it in Cameron's face, sets that dude on fire, and goes and breaks him out.
She undoes his hands, and oh my God, she sets his face on fire, and then she calls out the battle cry of all battle cries. Meanwhile, she's then untying him while he sees McDonald men just come over all of the walls around them. And it's fucking fighty times. And then she's like, can you fight? And he's like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Like, I got to get myself a sword, I guess. And like, I am staggering, but it's fine.
Now it's fighting, and it's so cute because then, like, they start to flag. The McDonald's start to flag because the problem is the Camerons. Every time you take one out, there's another one right there.
There's
They're gonna
6 more
exhaust them.
behind him.
And then they hear more battle cries. Now Alaric and Ewan and their men are coming over the wall.
He hears a familiar battle cry and then cries one back to them, and the brothers are here. Because she bought enough time for them to get here from Nifflefluffer.
That's why she couldn't, quote unquote, kill him the night before.
Yeah.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
And so everyone's fighting, and then he sees her across the way battling, and he's trying to get to her. And then he sees her battling with her father. And he's like, oh, fuck, I need to go back her up.
And then he watches Cameron pull out a dagger, and he realizes what's going to happen. He starts running to Cameron. Cameron throws it, and it stabs her right in the shoulder. Everything's gone to chaos, and like they win. They're winning now.
Well, but
she's dying.
He's fighting Cameron because he was closer to him at that point. He was going to try to stop this dagger from happening. Now he's fighting Cameron, and he's like, I've got to pull on my last resources and kill this guy, but he's losing. He's gonna die.
And before he can do anything, a sword comes through Cameron's chest and heart in front of him and falls to the ground immediately. Rihanna is standing there, and she says he lived without honor, and as such, he deserved to die without honor.
And so she saved his life.
Melody, this was so this entire book, I was like, man, I'm so glad I read the first 2 books to get to this
Same.
point.
Yeah.
But this was the point where I went, this book is so much more meaningful.
Yes, with the
for
context.
that having read the first 2 books, because otherwise you could read this and like you get to this point and you don't understand the
the magnitude.
That's a good word. Like the magnitude of her being the one to do the killing.
To
and
slay
like,
this dragon. It is the McCabe family dragon.
And like maybe I read, who knows? I could have read more into this than there was, but the way I took it, like it was so meaningful. Like this was very much like trusting somebody else and taking a chance on connection with other people is what saved the day, because Rihanna wouldn't be here. She's not a McCabe. Marin got brought to a McCabe keep, stayed at the McCabe keep. Keely was thrown out of her people, the McDonald's, and taken into the McCabe keep. This is they have no problem bringing people into their fold, but trusting and going, like, accepting being brought into somebody else's fold, you can't trust anybody who's not a McCabe.
Right.
Guess what? You can.
The McDonald's showed up.
And you won't be able to take down the dragon without the people, like, without trusting these people. You can't just trust the people that you've been around your entire life. You have to take that risk. And sometimes that risk means that they take out the dragon.
Yeah.
Like...
Also, listener, before he did that domino fight to become Laird, when they announced their pregnancy, one of the first questions from the men was, is that baby going to be a McDonald or a McCabe? And he says, a McCabe, of course. And then a bunch of them turned their backs on him and started walking away. And so he ends up taking her home. Everybody goes home. Oh,
Whoa.
Sorry. No, whoa.
She collapses. She slays the dragon.
Yeah.
Everyone left. The fight is over. And then she hits the ground and he's panicking and he's holding her and he says, Don't you
leave
die,
me.
Rihanna. Do you hear me? Don't you dare die on me. You'll live. I command it. Oh God, he said brokenly. Please don't die, lass. You can't leave me. I love you. 'Tis not true that I kept a part of my heart locked away from you. You own all of it, lass. You've always owned it. I didn't give it to you. You took it from the very start. And she says to him, 'tis glad I am to hear, because she's sassy even when she's dying.
I know.
'Tis glad I am to hear it, husband, for 'tis the truth. I despaired of you ever giving me the words I most wanted to hear. You stay with me, and you'll hear them every day for the rest of our lives. Alas, I don't deserve you. 'Tis God's honest truth, I don't, but I want you all the same, and I'll not live a single day without you. And she says, what a pair we are, she whispered. Battered, bruised, and bloody, too weak to help each other to our deathbeds. 'Tis the truth, we'll have to die here, because I lack the strength to carry you.
Meanwhile, all the brothers are gathered around her being like, this bitch, this incredible bitch. So they end up taking them back to the McDonald Keep. It's the closest one. And the brothers are trying to corral Kaelin, and he will not stand for it. And he's like, everybody get your medicine hands over to my goddamn lady wife. And
nobody
like,
cares about me.
Yeah. And they're like, Kaelin, your wounds are the ones that are starting to fester.
She has a very clean stab wound, and it's not a good one, but guess what? It's fresh, you fucking nitwit.
You were in a rat-infested dungeon forever.
Want to go into sepsis,
yeah.
Kaelin.
You're about to be fatally a-fevered if we don't put a poultice of some sort on that. And finally, they get him to, sit the fuck down. But then, yeah.
It's
please.
like a week and a half later, listener.
She doesn't know this, though.
She wakes up. She has been asleep. Sarah's there, and Sarah's like, you've been asleep for like a week. Like he's been asleep. He's not awoken yet. And she takes that as he hasn't woken up at all. Like he's dead. It's like 3 in the morning. So like, of course he hasn't awoken, but she
launches herself out of that bed.
This woman, I love her so much. She crawls into his room and onto his bed and is like in his face. Yeah. She's like right up in his face on his quote unquote deathbed. And she's like, listen to me, husband, and listen well. She all but shouted at him, you'll not die on me. Not after all I did to save your sorry hide. Is this how you show your gratitude? By dying on me after all? 'Tis a disgrace. That's what it is. And then she's framing his face and she says, you'll fight, damn it. You'll not give over this easily. God is not ready for you yet because I am not through with you. You're going to wake up and you're going to give me the words I've waited on for so long. Yeah. Telling me you love me on the battlefield as we both lay dying doesn't count.
It's fucking bullshit.
You'll give them to me and mean them, or so help me. I'll bury you in unconsecrated ground so that you never rest, and you'll be forced to dwell in this keep with me for eternity.
Forever.
To her complete surprise, his eyes opened and a smile curved his lips upward. Warmth gleamed in those beautiful green eyes as he stared up at her. I love you. Tears filled her eyes. Is that what you woke me for, wife? To beat the words from me? I would have gladly given them to you, except you've been unconscious for the last days, and I grew tired of saying them to a woman who couldn't hear me.
She's like, they told me you hadn't woken up.
She's yelling at him, and he must have woken up so long ago. And then he just opens his eyes, and he just smiles at her and says, I love you.
And they're like, okay, we need to get you back to bed. And she's like, that's fine, but I'm not going back to my fucking bed. I'll tell you that much. And he's like, that's right. She's not leaving this bed. And so they sick bed together for a little while, and it's fucking adorable.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Before all of that, though, he says, you were magnificent. You saved me. 'Tis a fact I'll not forget in this lifetime. You led our clan into battle. You were the fiercest warrior princess that ever was. And she says, how came you by that term?
Yeah.
And he says, Keely told me of your childhood dreams. Rihanna, you're my warrior princess. I'm ashamed that for so long I tried to mold you into someone else, but 'tis the truth. From the first day I saw you attired in those trews and a man's tunic, wielding a sword as deftly as any warrior, I wanted you so badly I ached with it. I thought if I forced you to be something you were not, 'twould temper my fierce need for you. And she says, well, perhaps you recognized in me the mirror of yourself, your other half. And he says, I did, but I fought it, but no more. She says, then you'll let me fight alongside you. And he says, I'll not lie. 'Tis my wish to forever keep you here and under my protection. I died 1,000 deaths watching you in battle.
Yeah.
Part of me was so proud. I wanted to shout to the world, look at her. She's mine. The other part of me wanted to drag you as far from danger as I could and keep you from harm all the days of your life. I can only promise not to be so rigid in the future. I'll never accept you being put into danger. And he says, I'll love you well, lass. 'Tis one promise I can make and a vow to keep. I'll love you until I draw my last breath and beyond. You were made for me. I cannot imagine a more perfect
Oh my God. Okay, Sabrina's not done reading, all right? Because a few days later, they get her all dressed up and they're like, you need to go to the balcony. Okay.
Nobody's surprised that I have this entire thing highlighted.
No, I've met you before, let alone been friends with you for years. So if you've met Sabrina one time, you know this passage is highlighted. So she is like,
this feels
I don't
like
know.
a call out.
No, it's with absolute like worship. So she goes out to the balcony and she has no idea what's going on. And when she gets out there, the entire clan is in the courtyard and he is standing in the middle of it And he Romeos her hard.
Kaylin's voice rang out over the courtyard. Rihanna McDonald, I stand here today because you assembled your warriors and came for me with a plan so crazed that it was brilliant. You risked your life because you loved me. I have not a gesture so grand as yours to prove my love and regard. You once told me you demanded the words and you demanded the part of my heart you swore I locked away from you. 'Tis the truth that no part of me was safe from your possession. Nay, my gesture is not as grand as yours. You were willing to sacrifice all because you considered me yours and were unwilling to let me go. I once made a mistake of trying to change who you were. I tried to take a bold, courageous woman and make her into a meek, mild-mannered, genteel lady because I thought I would be safe from her. 'Twas the biggest mistake I've ever made and one I'll regret all of my days. I offer you the... I have goosebumps.
I know.
I offer you the words now, wife. I love you. I love my warrior princess. I say it in front of my king, my clan, our clan, so that you'll know how very loved and cherished you are.
Is he on a knee? I think he might be on a knee now because that was part of her like girlhood fantasy. Like her warrior.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
And she's so excited. She's like whispering. She's like, oh my God, I love you too, my gruff warrior. I love you so much. And he says, oh, I gathered my king and my family today to rectify a wrong. The McDonalds deserve to have their name live on. 'Tis a noble and courageous thing they did for the laird who bore not their name and for the king who divided their clan. Henceforth, I will no longer be known as Caleb McCabe. From this day forward, I take the name of Kaylin McDonald. May our clan live long and the glory of the day. A golden-haired warrior princess led them into battle. Be retold for many years to come. And then, this is so cute. She runs down there immediately,
of course,
and she
tackles him.
Busts. No.
Oh no, you're
better,
right. She hesitates
because she gets out of that door, and he's standing there before her, the king, his brothers, and their clan, and she stops herself because she's remembering that time that he was like, "You shouldn't show affection."
He put
in
up a
front of
boundary.
You shouldn't show affection in front of the men. And he says in a low voice, he says, if you wait any longer to come to me, I'll tackle you here in front of everyone.
Kaylin McDonald, you absolute dreamboat. Okay, is my newest kink the Duke that takes her last name? I don't know.
Yeah, don't call me by my name. Call me by yours. Maya Banks, you beautiful bastard. This being the last of this series,
this
too.
Sweeping fucking epic story. Like, truly. And
then, y'all, listen, the fucking epilogue. So he journals. Everyone in this fucking world is illiterate because it's like 1200s Highland Scotland.
Sure.
But he learned to write and he journals because according to him, he's bad at words out loud. So he like has to put them on paper, sir. Sir, you are simultaneously terrible at words out loud and the best at words out loud, okay?
Yeah.
There's no in between. There's no
You're just
middle
not consistent, is all.
And no, he is consistent. The consistency is one fucking end of the spectrum or the other. There's no middle ground here.
Right.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
But he's journaling, and it's the day that their baby was born.
Yeah.
And he, in his journal, says, "She rests now, and I cannot help but stare and marvel at the miracle she represents. I'll never forget the day I first saw her and how she fascinated me with her mannish attire, the sword she wielded with the skill of a warrior, and the challenge in her beautiful eyes. She's spoken before of a time when part of my heart was withheld from her because it belonged to another, but from the moment I laid eyes on her, I belonged solely to her. Alas, I think I've always loved you, for 'tis the truth I cannot ever remember a time I didn't."
Oh, end of book.
End trilogy. Oh, and it's
Yeah.
signed Kaylin McDonald in
I
his
mean-
diaries. He even signs it.
Oh my God. I know. No hyphens for this guy, okay? He's taken his warrior princess's last name, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, there's two flavors to the "call me by my name" Duke trope. You know, there's
Totally.
the Duke, like the Duke
Who gives you
permission,
leave to use his
gives you
Christian name.
leave to use his Christian name, and
And
the
the
other
Duke who
is
takes
the Duke,
your last
the
name.
Duke takes your name.
Jesus.
Don't call me by mine, call me by yours.
Oh, fucking chills.
I
The way I can't wait to talk about the first two books in our Squeep episode, because the way that this book was like a culmination of so much that had been planted.
This would have been a terrible book as a standalone.
I mean, I still
Not
loved
a
it before
terrible
I read
book.
the first two. I still loved it, but it didn't hit me like in my gut the way it did.
It's a better book for being the third in a trilogy.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It was still a really good book on its own, but
Good.
you're right. Yeah. So anyway, Sabrina, what is your goddamn lady love?
I think my lady love might be actually, you know what? No, I was gonna like kind of jokingly halfway be like Highlander romance kind of thing, but
Sure.
like this is kind of a callback to our first episode to episodes plural together. But it's meeting a book where it is. You know what I mean? Like this is a Highlander romance. And like it has a lot of the like there's a lot of times where the consent is dubious but like there's so many things that are a mark of like the time it was written,
Yeah.
the genre that this book is,
Subgenre matters.
subgenre matters, and it's so good. Like meeting a book, subgenre matters, meeting a book where it is, and like I love a fucking because Highlander romance apparently because this book the entire time I couldn't stop thinking about the bride because I remember it really well because you and I spent 7 hours talking about it.
Yeah.
But like this was so good.
Yes.
And I just can't stop thinking about how even a 94 Highlander romance, I really liked The Bride a lot.
Yeah.
And just, I guess it's like meeting a book where it is, enjoying the subgenre, and like kind of broadening your horizons as you're reading, as far as your reading is concerned, in the sense of like, I mean, I've been stuck in my little alien sci-fi role all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where I've wanted to be. I'm very happy there right now.
Right.
But like, I'm really excited to dive into a subgenre that I've just not really spent any time reading. So like my lady love fucking Highlander romance and fucking enjoying the hell out of a subgenre, you know? And like diving into it.
I love it.
It's so good. It was so good. My lady love is the series. Maya Banks, where are you?
I mean, truly. Yeah.
Gannon. Actually, my lady love is Gannon. You know,
What a goddamn. He's just. Remember in one of the recent. Is that out yet? Oh, no, it's not out yet. One of the recent episodes that we recorded, but have not come out yet. Remember when the guy was like, she's a brick? Like, Gannon's a brick. Gannon is just like the steadiest, coolest, like down bitch, you know? Like, he's just so good. Down bitch, I'm going to give credit to I Think Not. It's a podcast with Ellen Marsh and Joey Taranto. And they call their listeners down bitches because, like, the down bitch is the one who's going to notice you're missing, you know? And, like, the down bitch is the one who's going to, like, ask the question of the neighbors instead of being polite. Like, it's so good. Anyway, that's who Gannon is, man. He's just like, yeah.
Love him.
He's a fucking brick.
I'm just very intently saying that my lady love is Highlander romance. I'm saying our podcast lady love for this episode is Gannon. And what's your personal lady love? By the way, hilariously, I have a list. I've been keeping a list of lady loves again. And so I have like 15 things I could have said. Legitimate things that I could have said for this. And it's how did Maya Banks fucking make me say Highlander romance?
Obliterated
today?
Your list.
What the fuck?
Is what she did.
Maya. Miss Banks.
Yeah. Miss Banks.
How could you? Maya feels a little
we humbly
intense.
We humbly
By the way,
prostrate ourselves in front of you.
All of this is with love and affection, okay?
Oh, God, of course.
All of this
Hugest amount of respect. Come on.
Yeah, so much respect. You are the lady of this keep, and like...
And we are merely kneeling at your altar, you know?
Okay, what's your lady love?
My lady love is goddamn...
Dirt?
Pitch Perfect. No.
Oh.
It's Pitch Perfect.
I can't believe it's not Dirt, listener.
I know.
Melody's been talking about this Dirt for days, weeks.
I've been reveling in it. I cannot get it out from under my fingernails, and I've never been happier. I'll probably say it later on because I'm not even done with Dirt yet. I managed to get it dumped on a place where like I have like 1 yard left that I'm figuring out which beds I'm gonna fertilize with it. So I can still talk about Dirt later. I'm not done.
I'm obsessed with you.
It's fine. Everything's totally chill over here. It's fine. Okay, my lady love is Pitch Perfect and talking your kids into shit you know they'll love. Because Michael went to the library and sometimes he goes through the movies and he saw Pitch Perfect and he was like, oh man, I really think like both kids will love this, but like Valor will especially love this. And so we started watching it for family movie time. And I was reminded what a goddamn amazing, hilarious, inspirational, like just fucking rad movie Pitch Perfect is. I don't know. Is it a perfect movie? ? You know what I mean? Like, I forgot Pitch Perfect existed for years of my life.
God,
I forgot it existed.
When did that come out?
Golly, I don't know, but Brittany Snow, like, wow. Brittany Snow with that red hair, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, mid-2000s, I guess, you know? But, like, I forgot. I was telling Valor, because she was like, no, I'm not really sure. And I was like, Valor, you are going to love this movie. I don't know how to express it to you, but, like, please trust me when I say that you're going to love this movie. And then I was like, oh, my God, Ember is going to, like, totally go to town on this movie, too. And, yeah, it is just so good. I forgot about the Cup song.
Holy shit.
What? Is it
2012.
Whoa.
That's a this movie's a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
Pitch
God, the
Perfect,
Cup
man.
song. I spent hours learning that song.
Bum bum ba bum bum bum. Yeah. Bum bum dun 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 bum bum. Yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot that the blonde and the love interest ended up married in real life. Like, I was reminded of so many things as we watched this movie. And I got to listen to my 8-year-old crack up at jokes he didn't actually understand because they were very adult, but they were delivered perfectly. You know, like the comedic timing was just on point. It is so good. And then I remembered that I think in the third one, I've never watched a third of a movie in my life, I don't think, except for this one. In the third one, shut your fucking beautiful mouth.
Twilight.
Shut up.
We literally watched them together.
Stop it. No, but that's like a whole, that's different because that's based on a book trilogy. You know it's coming out. When Pitch Perfect came out, it was just a movie.
Okay, that's fair.
You know,
that's a
you
good,
weren't
that's
expecting there to be
I love
three.
that you were like, I have never watched a third movie ever in my life, and I was like, we've watched 2 of them together.
Stop it.
Actually,
It's different. It's different.
It
In
is
the third
different. That's a
one,
very
she,
good.
Thank you. But like in the third one, she basically turns into Ed Sheeran at the end, and like that's the whole deal. It is incredible. The music is flawless. The jokes are scathing and also like good-natured, funny. It's just fucking funny and great. And it's got so much heart. And like the bitchy one learns her lesson and like comes to the light side. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Ugh. Anyway, God, have you forgotten about Pitch Perfect, listener? I'm just here to remind you.
I've
it
only
holds
seen
up.
the first movie.
Maybe that should be our next trilogy. That should be our
next
next
watch
50
series?
Shades. Yeah. We'll do 2 watch parties in 1 month just to get through the Pitch Perfect series for me and me alone.
Oh no, I'm rubbing off on her, listener. You won't really understand until the St. Vincent Day episode comes out. But like, I like Melody's making a somewhat autocratic decision, and I support her. Frankly, there's no backlash from this corner.
If you are going to have an autocracy, just use your powers for fucking good. Okay, that's all we ask the world in this timeline.
Hey Mel,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm.
How much will it fuck everything up if I redo a different Lady Love? I don't want
Everything. Shut your mouth. No, absolutely not. That's it. Love you so much. Keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love. Man, a character, you know what? A character who's a dick face in the streets and a sweetheart in the sheets.
A poetic genius.
Poet in the sheets.
Love yourself as much as you love just a comfy pair of trews, man.
Yeah. Got so much mobility. It's so good.
Ability.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Love yourself as much as you love a palm kiss. So many palm kisses.
So many palm kisses. Yeah.
I guess it's love yourself as much as I love a palm kiss. I don't know how your feelings on palm kisses, listener, but like, if you love yourself as much as I love a palm kiss, boy, that's some love, man.
Love yourself as much as you love this empowered feminist fucking warrior princess. And the way that she decides to redefine femininity.
Love yourself as much as you love the term lady wife.
Oh, God.
Love yourself as much as you love the word lady loves the word wife.
That's right.
In that order.
That's the one. Yeah. Love yourself as much as you love imagining your man husband calling
Look
you
at
his
you.
lady wife in any circumstance, in
Look at
any
you.
century.
Oh my God.
Why doesn't he do that?
My God.
Why isn't he a
Yeah.
fucking mind reader? You know what I mean?
Yeah, how dare- and like this really, really obvious, super
So obvious.
like so easy to remember one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like so basic. You know what I mean?
It's like this is a basic tenet of happiness in this life. And like, how dare all of them forget it?
That's right.
You know what? They're probably forgetting about that memory because it's hiding somewhere inside of their their second hidden zipper pocket.
Those assholes. Yeah. All right. Love yourself that much. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening, you beautiful bastards. Next week is an HB holiday, and we're celebrating in style. Come spend your St. Vincent week with us because we're recapping Devil in Spring by Lisa Kleypas. It's time to meet the swoony demon that Evie and Sebastian raised, along with the heroine after our own hearts. Seriously, she's an honorary HB for sure. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.